Hey lovers, how you doing? Good day wherever you are in the world, be morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome to another exciting episode of Connecting the Mind and Soul. And I remain your host, Jumoke or Swada. Now, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about emotional manipulation. Now, a lot of people are in relationship with manipulators and they do not even know it. I have someone who is in a relationship with a manipulator at the moment. But anytime you try to make her see the obvious truth, it's not easy for her to do that because these people, there's a way they capture your mind and there's a way they reform you into thinking everything that happens or goes wrong in that relationship is your fault. And before you know it, it begins to affect your sanity. So today I'm going to be talking about who a manipulator is. I'm going to be talking about how to identify a manipulator. And I'm also going to talk about how to guide yourself against the manipulator and effects of being in a relationship with a manipulator. So as you go on with me today, sit tight and let's go on. Now, who is a manipulator? I'm going to start with that. And a manipulator is someone who influences or controls others in a clever or unscrupulous ways. Now, how to identify a manipulator? I wrote down few points. Those are not all, but I just wrote down few. And the first one I wrote down is anyone who makes their doings your fault. That means when they do something, they make you look as if it's your fault. And the second point is anyone who blames you directly or indirectly for their own mistakes. Believe me, you're dating a manipulator. And the third one says anyone who cheats on you but turns it all on you, blames your character, blames your attitude, blames your reasoning or it might even be your shape on why they did cheat on you. And before you know it, you start to see reason. Maybe indeed it was actually your fault. Believe me, you're dating a manipulator because what happens to them breaking up or going on a break, if truly they feel you are the reason why things aren't going well in the relationship. And the last one I wrote down says anyone who abuses you verbally, emotionally, physically, mentally, and they still act as the victim, they are a manipulator. Anyone who does that to you, who abuses you, and at the end of the day, they still see themselves or make you see them as the victim, they are indeed a manipulator. So if you are dating one, I urge you today to please get away from such relationship because really it stresses your mental health. It's not good for you. It's not good for your sanity. And a lot of people who deals with this set of people, at the end of it all, run into depression and anxiety, and it's as bad as them committing suicide because they always see themselves as not good enough. They always see themselves as the shortcoming. And they, at the end of the day, they get to blame themselves for everything. Resentment follows, fear follows, stress, and a whole lot of things. But for those who heaven helps already married to a manipulator, I wrote down a list of how you can guide yourself against them. And the number one says, always think before you speak. Always think before you act. Because these people, they know how to use one's words or actions against them. They are good. They are that good. So if you're dealing with one, though I would advise you to lift them up. Who knows? There might be a reason why you don't want to leave the relationship or the marriage. But if you're dealing with one, please think before you speak, think before you act. And the number two says, don't be emotional. These people feed on people's emotions. They feed on your emotions. That is what gives them the strength, the power to keep on controlling you. So if you don't want to be controlled by these people, do not be emotional. Don't get angry too much. Don't talk too much. Don't react too much. Try to limit your emotions. And number 3 says, put your self-esteem on high. Put it on a high level because they destroy people's confidence. They step on your confidence so you can rely on them. So you can believe everything that comes out of their mouth. And number 4 says, don't always give in to the demands or needs. Before you know it, they will be in control and they will be control of you. And controlling is what they live for. So you need to be careful. Their power, their strength comes from controlling people, controlling people's thoughts, controlling people's actions. That is what they live for. So you need to be careful. And number 5 says, never allow them know or see your weakness, because that is what they attack first. Once they know your weakness, once they see it, that is what they attack first. That is how they know, your lapses, and that is how they take control of you or everything around about you, even your friends. So the last one says effects of being manipulated. Now, mostly people who are being manipulated don't know. So sometimes, even though they're watching this video, they still don't see themselves as being manipulated. So if probably you have someone who you think all these things fall right into, you can talk with them, you can advise them, you can speak with them. Although advices will have to be constant because they hardly hear, when people try to talk them out of it. Because most of these manipulators have eaten deep into them. They've brainwashed them. Let me put it that way. So number 1, the effect is it damages trust because it later on gives them trust issues. They hardly trust anybody. That's for those who have been manipulated and probably realize they're being manipulated. Even maybe amongst their families or friends or into another relationship, they begin to have trust issues. And the second one says it causes resentment. They get to have resentment towards people. You might just do them a little, wrong. They hold it there because of the trauma of the past. And the third one says it affects the mental health and well-being, which I can testify to that because I know someone who is mentally not okay right now because of a past relationship, because she was in a relationship with a manipulator. And right now, I think she's on drugs, trying to balance her life because of the effect of what she had to go through in the hands of that manipulator. It wasn't just about controlling everything that she did. It wasn't just about controlling how she acts or, reacts with people or, it's about, the physical abuse, the verbal abuse, self-confidence, self-esteem, everything. He messed it up. He messed up to the fact that even when you try to talk to her and, make her see how beautiful or intelligent she is, she starts to attack you and, see herself as if she's nothing. So we need to be careful. And the fourth one is it damages self-confidence and sense of identity, like the story I just shared. And the fifth one is it causes isolation. They begin to isolate themselves from people, from friends, from families, and they don't want to go into another relationship. And this becomes time wasting for them because and like the person I'm talking about, she's not been able to move on, and she's already in her late 40s without children, without husband, without any serious relationship. She's beginning to isolate herself from people. And the sixth one says it causes depression and anxiety. And the worst case scenario is when you become depressed, when you're living with anxiety, suicide often comes in thoughts. They think about how to, end on life themselves almost every week or almost every day. because they just feel things can get better for them, because that sense of identity, that belief in themselves is gone. So please, if you are in a relationship with one or married to one, I would advise you to leave. To leave and get help. Not just leave and move on into another relationship. Leave and get help. But if, I don't know, for one reason or another, you're finding it hard to leave, please guide yourself wisely. Guide yourself emotionally, guide yourself physically, guide yourself in every way you can till you have that strength to move on. Okay, until next time, I see you again. Stay blessed, stay shining, and I remain your host. And please don't forget to like, to share, to comment on all of our social media platforms. It is CMS, like is on the screen, underscore with Jumoke. And please on TikTok, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Please click the follow button. Bye. See you next time.